everyone, once again, and welcome to WHHS Channel 30 Sports presentation of Red Raider Boys Basketball here on Channel 30. I'm Mike Williams.
And I'm Ken Stray.
And tonight, the Harvey Red Raiders will take on NEC rival, the Jefferson Falcons, here tonight for a sectional title in Madison, Ohio.
Well, Mike, the Red Raiders breezed through their first-round game against University 91-57. Odell Parker led the way for the Raiders with 20 points, including 4 three-pointers in the first half alone. Sean Turner chipped in with 16 points and 7 rebounds. Tonight, though, they get a challenge from the Falcons. The Raiders went 1-1 against the Falcons in the regular season.
Well, speaking of the Falcons, Ken, although their record is a dismal 5-15, they do know how to play tough. Zach Dennis leads the Falcons scoring attack with 13.6 points per game, with help from 6'3" Alex Rabe, who averages 12.5 points per game.
And let's give you the starting lineups for tonight. For the Harvey Red Raiders, it'll be number 42, senior Sean Turner, number 34, senior Ray McLean, Brian Phillips, senior, number 33, Odell Parker, senior, number 22, and junior Ivan Pinkett, number 31.
And as we look at the Jefferson Falcons, number 2, Zach Dennis, who is a junior, number 12, junior Danny Nemeth, number 32, Mike Baker, who is a junior, number 34, Alex Chaka, who is a sophomore, and number 40, Alex Rabe, who is a junior. Well, Ken, this should be an interesting matchup, especially since we mentioned earlier that these two teams faced each other in the regular season.
Early in the season, the Raiders lost in overtime to the Falcons, but later they breezed through an easy game against the Falcons, so we'll see which Red Raider team comes to the court this evening.
Well, the way the Raiders have been playing, winning 12 of their last 13 games, I think it'll be another breeze through for the Red Raiders.
Especially since that one loss in those 13 games was to the second-ranked team in this district, and that is Benedictine.
They also ranked 8th in the state of Ohio for Division II. They are a very tough team to beat.
The Raiders, though, are, as always, on a roll, as it has been in the second half of the season. You'll see high scoring from Ray McLean, who is the team's leading scorer. You'll see Sean Turner all over the place, assisting, scoring, rebounding. And as always, Brian Phillips down below getting the rebounds.
All around great players for Harvey. Well, Ken, I'd like to welcome you aboard. I know this is your second game here, but this is your first one with me, and I'm glad to be working with you.
I am also glad to be working with you, Mike.
So as we get ready for the tip here, it'll be interesting to see how Jefferson plays tonight, if they want to attack down in the post with Alex Rabe or if they want to stay on the outside shooting. I watched them through the practice, and Alex Chaka especially had a great jump shot.
He's got a nice touch on the ball. And on the Raiders side of the ball, you'll have to watch Odell Parker on the outside. It depends whether the Raiders can pound the ball inside on a shorter Jefferson team this evening.
Well, in their last tournament game, they played University, and they had a tough time pounding the post, but they did very well from outside the arc.
There's a lot of good defense going on there, too. Sean Turner had multiple steals, great passes, a lot of great defense all around from the Raiders.
Well, tonight's tip-off will be Sean Turner against Alex Rabe. As we tip off here, Turner's going to get the tip-off and get it over to Ivan Pinkett. Ivan Pinkett now on the left wing over to Ray McLean. McLean getting this guy set up, back over to Pinkett at the top of the key. Odell Parker now has it, decides to drive it lane, tosses it back to Ivan Pinkett. Pinkett over to Turner. Turner challenging the Jefferson's defense. Bounce pass right to Alex Chaka. Chaka comes up with it now for the Jefferson Falcons, and it's going to slow the pace here a bit. He gets it over to number 2, Zach Dennis. Dennis looking for somebody to get open here. He's going to find Nemeth down in the post. Nemeth looking to get around the defense, kicks it out to Rabe. Rabe at the top of the foul line, not going to get it. And instead, Ray McLean comes in with a block. Brian Phillips comes up with it now. Odell Parker now racing on the court, tries to get it to Sean Turner. He comes up with it, puts up the shot, and doesn't get it to fall. Ball bouncing around now, and Alex Chaka comes up with it for the Jefferson Falcons. Alex Chaka looking around is getting confused by the defense. Nemeth rolls right through the lane and puts the ball in the hoop. 2 points for the Jefferson Falcons.
I think you're going to see the Red Raiders double-teaming Chaka because of his small size.
Turner puts up an off-balance shot, doesn't get it to fall, and everyone's fighting for the rebound, and they're going to call that against Brian Phillips.
Brian Phillips is a very aggressive player. You'll see him battling for a lot of rebounds tonight, and he already has one on the evening.
Well, unfortunately, I think they try to make basketball not so physical, and I think it should be a physically played game. Zach Dennis now has the ball for the Jefferson Falcons, trying to get past the Raiders defense. Chaka now back to Dennis. Dennis looking for somebody. He's going to bounce past it to Nemeth. Gonna try to race through. McLean blocks it from behind and comes up with the ball. Ivan Pinkett now has it right wing for the Red Raiders, looking for somebody to get open here. Ivan Pinkett says he's gonna take it himself, kicks it over to Phillips. Phillips with the shot, and that one's not gonna go anywhere near the hoop. Dennis now has it for the Falcons, gets it over to, actually that was to Dennis, and Dennis hits the three-pointer, and Jefferson's gonna take a 5-0 lead. Way to jump out quick for the Falcons.
You're seeing the Harvey Red Raiders using the fast breaks like they do. And it was actually very odd to see Brian Phillips take that outside shot because he's usually the inside guy that they go to. And to see him shooting from that far out, it was, frankly, it was just odd to see.
Well, I really don't know what's happening. Nothing seems to be really different with the Raiders, and yet they haven't been able to put any points on the board as of yet.
I think that it's just early in the game, and they just need a little bit of time to get acclimated. A lot of these guys they're all comfortable on the basketball floor. So I think as the first quarter continues, you'll see the Harvey Red Raiders pulling ahead.
Well, I certainly hope so. As action starts back up here, it will be Red Raiders ball. After Dennis hit that three-pointer. Ivan Pinkett now has it for the Red Raiders. Hopefully going to get some offenses sparked here for the Red Raiders. Sean Turner now has it, throws it cross court over to Odell Parker. Parker with a three, not going to fall. Nemeth comes up with the rebound. Nemeth now gets it to Chaka. Chaka trying to drive around Parker, gets it over to Dennis. Dennis looking around the post, throws it over to Nemeth. Nemeth now with it at the top of the key, looking for somebody to get open. And Turner's going to deflect it, comes up with it, and tosses it over to Ivan Pinkett. Pinkett now racing down the court. And it looks like he got tipped there by Nemeth, Danny Nemeth.
And Pinkett's going to go to the line for two. Ivan Pinkett is also a threat from the outside. He's got a nice touch on his shot, and it's good that he's going to the foul line because he might be able to get the Raiders on the board here tonight.
Well, the Raiders are definitely a great team. You have Turner, McLean down in the post, and Parker and Pinkett on the outside. Well, Pinkett's going to make his first foul shot, and that's going to put the first points on the board for the Red Raiders. Second one's not going to fall, and Danny Nemeth comes up with the rebound. Nemeth looking for somebody and gets it over to Alex Chaka. Chaka now on the left wing being pressured by Pinkett. Finds somebody open, gets it back now. Chaka trying to get around McLean, and it's going to be a Red Raider ball as it bounces off Chaka's hand and goes out of bounds.
It's good defense there by Ray McLean. He's got good, he knows where he is on the court, and he knows how to get his hand in there and get the ball without the reach.
I think that's might of what Starkey has suggested throughout the timeout to get some pressure going on the defense. Sean Turner now open for the three. It's not going to fall, though, as it hits the front part of the rim. Danny Nemeth comes up with the rebound for the Falcons. Races down the court, gets it over to Alex Rabe in the post. Rabe can't get it to fall, fighting for the rebound. Rabe gets it back. Turner tries to block it, and it's going to be Falcon ball as Brian Phillips tried to get it.
Here tonight, I think the Red Raiders are still kind of in their university game mode. They're taking a lot of outside shots, and they're not really pounding it to the inside. And I think if they start pounding it inside, they might see some points go up on the board.
I don't think they have a real threat. Dennis puts up a shot as it bounces around, and it gets tipped back in. Jefferson now takes a 6-point lead, 7-1. Ivan Pinkett now has it, setting up his guys here. I don't think they should be afraid to pound the post, but they are. Parker now has it, drives a lane, nice move, and doesn't get the floater to fall. Everyone's fighting for the rebound. Zach Dennis comes up with it for the Falcons. And I believe that's going to be a foul against the Harvey Red Raiders. And that one will be on Ivan Pinkett. So no trip to the line here as Alex Chaka is going to start things off for the Jefferson Falcons. Chaka's trying to find somebody. Instead gets it over to Zach Dennis. Dennis gets it over to Baker in the post, gets around Sean Turner with the reverse layup, and gets it to fall in. An 8-point lead now for the Harvey Red Raiders, or excuse me, the Jefferson Falcons. I wish it was in the Raiders' favor. Sean Turner now has it, puts up the jumper, and he should get fouled, and he does, by Mark Baker. And now Turner's going to get a trip to the free throw line.
I'm just not seeing the intensity that you usually see from the Raiders team. Usually they're a very charismatic team, and when they're playing good, that you can tell that they're just soaking in the fans cheering. And the fans aren't into it yet, and I don't think the Raiders are into it yet.
Down by 8, already halfway into this first quarter, and they only have 1 point on the board. So Turner trying to get his first points here of the game, puts more on the board for the Harvey Red Raiders. Turner up with the first and gets that one to fall. During the Riverside game, which was the last regular season game, we've seen Sean Turner go perfect from the free throw stripe.
You also saw him hit that three-pointer with just seconds left on the clock to give the Raiders a 2-point lead, and then Ray McClain later hit those 2 free throws to give them the 4-point lead in that game. So Turner, as always, is an impact player.
Turner with his second gets that one to fall as well. It's now 9-3 in the Falcons' favor. Alex Chaka now has it for the Jefferson Falcons, racing down the court. Pinkett and Parker right there to play the defense. Rabe now has it back to Chaka. Chaka to set up the play here. Trying to go to left wing, trying to find somebody over, is find Danny Nemeth. Nemeth gets it over to Zach Dennis. Dennis trying to get around the defense, kicks it back out to Nemeth. Nemeth gets it to fall. And that's a three-pointer, make it 12-3 in the Falcons' favor. Sean Turner now has it at the top of the post, trying to get past the defense. He'll drive it a little bit, gets it over to Brian Phillips. Phillips pounding it down there and gets it to fall in. 12-5. The Raiders now cut the Falcons' lead to 7.
And Mike, that is exactly what the Raiders need to do. That's why Brian Phillips is on the floor. He's the big man inside, and he will get the easy 2.
Chaka now has it for the Falcons, gets it over to Nemeth. Nemeth looking for somebody. Raiders are just playing some good man-to-man defense. Mark Baker gets it over to Chaka. Chaka loses it out of bounds. Red Raider ball.
And this is an opportunity for the Raiders here to put some points on the board from a Jefferson mistake.
They should capitalize on all their mistakes this evening, especially the way the Falcons have jumped out here to a 7-point lead. Everything gets set up now, and the Raiders have the ball once again. Sean Turner to start things up here for the Red Raiders. Looking left wing, he's going to drive around Baker, trying to find somebody, kicks it back out to Mike Baker. Baker puts up the jumper and gets it to fall. 12-7. The lead is now only 5 for the Jefferson Falcons. And it looks like they're going to try to play a half-court press. Falcons are going to break through it, though. Nemeth kicks it over to Baker, and Baker to challenge Mike Baker. Mark Baker gets his own rebound, though, and puts it back up. 14-7. Falcons lead it. Mike Baker now has it over to Ivan Pinkett. Pinkett gets it out to Turner. Turner at the top of the key. Going to take the three. Not going to fall. Baker there with the rebound. What a great rebound by Mike Baker in the putback. 14-9. And everyone's getting physical down there. Odell Parker tried to get the steal. And it's going to be a Red Raiders ball. Alex Chaka lost it for the Falcons.
Right there, you saw Mike Baker. He got up there, grabbed the rebound, put it right back in. You'll see a lot more of that from Mike Baker, and he gives the Red Raiders a promising future looking ahead to next year.
Number 42 comes in for the Jefferson Falcons. That will be Kyle McGurr. Ray McClain back in for the Raiders, giving Odell Parker a break. Sean Turner now has it, getting past the defense, tries to get inside to McClain. McClain's going to get it tipped, and Danny Nemeth's going to come with it. Racing down the court. Turner's right there trying to block it. Doesn't get it, though. 16-9, the Falcons lead it. Ivan Pinkett now has it at the top of the key here. Going to find somebody. Gets it over to Brian Phillips. Phillips looking down low. Gets it over to Ray McClain. McClain challenging the defense. Finds Ivan Pinkett wide open on the right wing. Ivan Pinkett now gets it over to Ray McClain. Ray McClain's putting up the jumper. Not going to fall. Danny Nemeth comes up with it. Unfortunately, it looks like the Raiders are trying to force their shots.
It certainly looks like they're playing very forced, and they're just trying to will the ball in. They just have to feel it like they know they can and just put it right in.
Well, here's the deal. They're down by 7, but it's only in the first quarter. They can still relax and stick with their game plan.
Well, I have no doubt the Red Raiders can overcome this deficit. They've played some great basketball in the past, and it's just a matter of time of when they're going to open up and blossom in this game.
Well, the Raiders were rewarded the ball off of Zach Dennis' travel, and another opportunity for the Raiders to capitalize on. Sean Turner now has it on the left wing. Instead, he's going to drive it here. Puts up the move and gets it to fall. Nice floater by Sean Turner. 16-11 is the score now. Turner and Mike Baker lead the Raiders in scoring with 4 points apiece. Turner's going to come up with a steal. Zach Dennis trying to get it out.
Yeah,
Turner
slam dunk by Sean Turner, getting the crowd into it.
What a way to do that. Unbelievable. We haven't seen that all year, and he finally gets one in.
Let me tell you, Sean Turner knows what to do on the court. He knew that the fans were not into the game yet. He knew the players weren't into it, and he knew something big had to happen, and that slam dunk is exactly what needed to happen to get the fans into it. The fans got pumped with the dunk, and as you saw, Sean Turner got pumped with that dunk as well. And, Mike, I'd like to ask you, I noticed the Sox were down and the Sox were up. You have a little story about that. If you could please enlighten our viewers out there.
No problem, Ken. In fact, I talked to Mr. Turner, Sean's dad, before the game, and he let me know that when Sean's socks are down. He's not really into it yet, but when he pulls them up, it's on. He's ready to go. So hopefully he'll be ready to go here right after this timeout. And he does have his socks up. And I have to say that was very poor ball handling by Zach Dennis. Falcons now have it, gets it over to Zach Dennis. Dennis racing down the court, gets it over to Alex McGurr. McGurr with the jumper and gets it to fall. 18-13, it's in the Falcons' favor. Turner now has the ball, trying to drive it, finds McLean open and gets the floater to fall. 18-15. The lead is now down to 3 for the Falcons. Zach Dennis now has it. It's going to race it up left wing, trying to find somebody. Whips it over there to Danny Nemeth. Nemeth over to Baker. Baker to put up the jumper. Not going to fall as it rattles out of the rim. Phillips trying to fight for the rebound now, and McGurr comes up with it. Or excuse me, Alex Rabe. Sean Turner now has it in transition for the Raider. Finds McLean. McLean's trying to save it. Gets it back to Turner. And now Mike Baker comes up with it. Baker's going to get it over to, tries to get it to McLean. And Zach Dennis is going to block Mike Baker's shot. Less than a minute to go here. The lead once was 8 for the Falcons, now down to 3.
Well, you see Andrew Booth, number 21, coming in, giving Brian Phillips a much-needed rest in this game.
McLean now has it for 3 and gets it to fall. That's going to tie the ball game back up here, 18-18. Nice shot by Ray McLean. Turner and McLean are coming into the game right when they need it. Zach Dennis now has it. It's going to get it over to McGurr. McGurr to Alex Rabe. And they're going to call that, I believe, on Mike Baker. Getting a little physical with his hip there, kind of threw his hip into Alex Rabe.
You know, in some aspects, that's a good thing to see. You're seeing that the Raiders are coming into the game. They're starting to play the game how they want it, and you're seeing the Raiders really, they're starting to get physical out there.
Sean Leary now comes into the game for the Jefferson Falcons, taking out Zach Dennis. Danny Nemeth now has it, puts up his own floater and gets it to fall with his own move like Sean Turner. These two teams are going to be going back and forth here tonight. 13 seconds to go here in this first quarter. Sean Turner now has the ball. Looks like he's just going to run one more play here. Turner trying to toy around with McGurr. Tries to drive it, and that should be a foul on the Falcons. Give that one to Alex Rabe.
And in this case, it's a mistake for Jefferson to foul here because Sean Turner is nearly flawless with his foul shooting, as you said, against Riverside, shooting 100%. So putting Sean Turner at the line is almost a guarantee, too.
And I'm sure these two teams have a lot of hatred towards each other. I just saw Turner right there drive the lane, and he smacked his elbow right in Alex McGurr's face. Turner's going to sink his first. So far, he's 3 of 3 on the evening from the charity stripe. Turner now with it and putting up his second. Gets that one to fall as well. It's 20 for both teams with less than 5 to go here in this first quarter. Sean Leary now with a three-pointer. It's not going to fall, and that's going to end the quarter. And the hoop went in before the buzzer was blown.
That's not going to count for 2 there for Jefferson. The referee is saying that it was still in Nemeth's hand before he released it, the buzzer rang. So that's not going to count for 2. Mike, if I could, I'd like to turn our attention back to that Sean Turner slam dunk, show a turning point in this Red Raider offense.
Right here it is, as we see Zach Dennis now has the ball for the Jefferson Falcons, and that's just sloppy ball handling, and Sean Turner slams it right in.
And after the play, look at him. He's getting pumped. He's getting the fans pumped. And right there is where I feel was the turning point in that first quarter.
At that point, they were down by 5 with Turner's dunk, only down by 3, and now the score is tied at 20 apiece as we go into the second quarter here.
And it wasn't that long ago that they were down by 9.
Well, Turner leads the points for the Red Raiders with 8 already. And as we look at the Jefferson Falcons, number 12, Danny Nemeth, has 9.
And now, with a break in the action, we're going to take a look at our sponsors tonight. WMG Wood & More, One Cut Above,
Bob the Barber,
Joe Hada,
City of Painesville Councilman at Large, class of 1968.
Palutro Insurance, celebrating 50 years of service.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron.
And Silvestro's. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe.
So as we get back to action here, it'll be the Jefferson Falcons ball to start off the second quarter. As they get everything set up with the scores table, Danny Nemeth will start it off for the Jefferson Falcons. Looking for somebody to get open. They're going to find Sean Leary there. Leary with the three. Not going to fall. It hits the back iron. Phillips fighting for that rebound. And Pinkett's going to steal it. And now they're going to call foul against Ivan Pinkett as he took that away from Alex Rabe.
Good defense there by Pinkett. Just got a little bit too aggressive going after that ball, and he got the foul.
I thought the whistle was late myself, but
yeah, I did too.
They're going to call it anyways. So Jefferson will get a second chance here at their end of the court. Zach Dennis back into the game for the Falcons, and he's going to feed it over to Leary. Now with Danny Nemeth on the right wing, he's going to get it over to Rabe at the top of the key. Back to Dennis Leary. Now Leary thinking about that three again. Is going to take it. Doesn't get the foul. Rabe right there with the rebound. Puts in the basket. It's going to get the foul. And that one's going to be called on Brian Phillips.
Well, that's a nice job there, drawing the foul and getting his trip to the line to turn it into a three-point play.
And now this will definitely be an opportunity for the Falcons. They want to stay ahead in this game. They need to convert here. Ray puts it up and gets that one to fall. 23-20, the Falcons lead it. Ivan Pinkett now has it for the Red Raiders, trying to get it over to somebody and gets it over to Sean Turner. Turner now gets past Leary, trying to feed it to somebody. Excuse me, that was Nemeth. Phillips now fighting down by the post, puts up the jumper, doesn't get it to fall, and McGurr comes up with the rebound. Turner comes up with the steal, though, feeds it over to McLean. McLean trying to get around Nemeth, and I believe they're going to call that against Danny Nemeth.
Good defense there by the Raiders. They were all around number 42, Kyle McGurr, I believe it was, and they just got the ball away from him, and nice job there, Sean Turner being heads up and grabbing that ball.
Adam Delamont now comes into the game for the Red Raiders. They need somebody down in the post. Hopefully they'll get him here tonight.
Adam Delamont is also a great blocker for the Raiders. He'll get his hand on the ball tonight.
Parker feeds it over to Turner. Turner can't get the three to convert, and Sean Leary comes up with it for the Falcons. But now Mike Baker comes up with a steal, going in between everybody's legs, and Ray McLean comes up with it on the right wing. Second chance here for the Red Raiders to try to convert. Odell Parker now has it at the top of the key, looking for somebody. Down by the post, a couple guys are open. Parker can't find anybody. Gets it over to Turner on the right wing. Sean Turner now has it. Instead, he's going to drive it himself past four defenders, feeds it to McLean, and McLean gets the ball. Fall in. 23-22. The Falcons lead it now just by one.
And I think the Raiders have found a weakness. The Falcons tend to get down court early on those rebounds, and they leave their man with the ball stranded down court, and they're just attacking him down court.
Everyone's fighting down there, and Mike Baker's going to come up with the rebound after a McGurr shot and didn't get it to fall. Turner over to McLean. Delamont thought it was his, tipped it. McLean comes up with it, and the ball's not going to convert. Zach Dennis now has it for the Falcons. Dennis is going to feed it over to Leary and now gets it over to Danny Nemeth. Nemeth's going to slow down the pace here, though, a bit. He's going to get over to Leary. Leary with that three again and doesn't get that one to fall either. Ray McLean with the rebound. McLean being pressured by three Falcons. He's going to find Mike Baker, though. McLean now has it once again and feeds it over to Sean Turner on the left wing. Turner now with it, trying to get past all the defenders. Gets it over to Odell Parker. Almost stepped out of bounds on that one. Parker drives, and it's going to be knocked out by Zach Dennis. Sean Leary now comes up with it for the Jefferson Falcons. Feeds it over to Danny Nemeth, and Nemeth with an off-balance layup. Ray McLean all alone, and he's going to take it.
Oh, my goodness, and he's getting a technical called on him for that.
What a slam dunk by Ray McLean.
Well, there's some disputing going on with the refs. One ref called it a technical on McLean, and still unsure of what the call is.
No, I don't think players are allowed to hang on the hoop as McLean did. But let's see what the call is here. And as you see, Coach Starkey's down there talking to Ray McLean now, saying, hey, it's okay if you guys dunk it and stuff, but let's not get carried away.
That was a monster dunk by McLean. You can see the Raiders are talking to the referee.
And now McLean's talking to the ref, and maybe he's trying to explain the situation. Well, the score stands right now at 24-23. This is the first time the Raiders have had it in their own favor. And amidst all the confusion here, I think the basket's going to count. And maybe he got a warning. I'm still not sure.
All right, and now that we have a break in the action, let's go back to the replay so we can see just how long he held on to that rim after that monster dunk of his.
Here we go, and
One,
he just
2, 3, a good 3 seconds there probably.
And then the taunting.
And McLean is,
I think we've seen Sean Leary run into Ray McLean there as he was making a dunk.
McLean is going to the line now.
That's
So-
a little confusing. I thought it was against McLean
I
myself.
personally thought the T was against McLean as well, and actually Jefferson was calling a T on McLean.
Well, I know guys aren't supposed to hang on the hoop like that.
Yes,
McLean converts that foul shot, and the score is now going to be 25-23. The Raiders have extended their lead to 2 points.
that puts McLean at 10 points, the first Raider to reach double digits tonight.
Sean Turner not far behind with 8. And now Zach Dennis is going to get his own free throw here. So maybe it was a double technical, and he's going to miss that one.
As it turns out, he was actually fouled on the dunk. So that's why he got that one foul shot there. And then he had the technical called on him for hanging on the rim.
Thanks, Ken, for cleaning that up for us all. Well, Zach Dennis can't hit any of his free throws. It's going to be Falcon ball here, though. 2-point lead for the Harvey Red Raiders. Danny Nemeth to start things off here for the Falcons once again. Looking for somebody who gets over, and he's going to find Leary. Leary now with it, feeds it over to Nemeth. Nemeth's going to get it down to Rabe. Rabe trying to challenge the defense, finds Leary with a deep 2. Can't get that one to fall, and Delamont tried to pull down the rebound. Rabe comes up with it, and now Delamont's going to get called for the foul. And unfortunately, Adam Delamont can just not catch a break.
Adam Delamont is a big fouler in this game just because he's the big man down the court. He's trying to get the blocks, and a lot of times those turn into fouls, and that won't be the first foul you'll see on him tonight.
Rabe gets his first one to fall and cuts the lead only to 1 for the Harvey Red Raiders. With his second, that one's not going to fall. Sean Turner comes up with the rebound. Turner now to pace the Raiders down the court. He'll take a break here, and he's going to get it over there to Odell Parker. Parker for 3. Doesn't get the fall. Turner, though, instead McLean comes up with it. McLean now with it. He stepped on the line, but gets it to fall. 27-24. The lead is now 3 points for the Red Raiders. Give McLean 12 points on the evening. Danny Nemeth getting instructions from his coach and is going to slow down the pace here. Feeds it over to Dennis. Dennis on the left wing looking for somebody down to get open. Looks as if the Raiders have gone to his zone defense here. He's going to find Mark Baker, and Mike Baker comes up with the steal of the Red Raiders. Baker sitting alone in that zone defense, and Mike Baker was right there. Odell Parker now with it. Looking a little shake and bake out there, but it's not going to drive it. Odell Parker with it once again. He's going to get it over to Turner on the left wing. Turner feeds it down to Delamont in the post, getting around the defense. Tries to get to somebody, gets it in McLean's hand. McLean's now with his own floater, gets the fall. Nice drive by McLean.
I tell you what, Jefferson is trying to slow the ball down, realizing that Harvey is a fast-paced offense. But unfortunately, Jefferson relies on the fast pace a lot too, and by slowing it down, you're seeing a lot of mistakes from Jefferson on offense.
Rabe now down in the post, feeds it back to Leary. Leary for 3, and finally gets one to fall. The lead is now only 2 for the Red Raiders. McLean got poked in the eye, and they're going to take a timeout. I didn't exactly see who caught him in the eye.
It looks like McLean's asking for a substitution, so McLean and Adam Delamont will come out, and Ivan Pinkett and Andrew Booth will take their place.
Alex Chaka comes back into the game for the Falcons. Ivan Pinkett now has it for the Raiders, gets it over to Mike Baker. Baker being pressured by the defense. Gets it over to Turner. Turner's got the lane almost to himself, feeds it over to Booth. Booth misses the open shot. And I believe they're going to call Zach Dennis on the foul. That would be the first on Zach Dennis this evening. 3:52 to go here in the first half. The Raiders lead it only by 2. But it is a big lead considering they haven't had it for quite that long. Booth now with it, gets it over to Ivan Pinkett. Pinkett to Turner. Turner for three. Finally gets a three-pointer to fall, 32-27. The Raiders lead it by 5 and answered Sean Leary's three of the Jefferson Falcons.
Sean Turner now in double digits as well with 11 points.
Alex Chaka feeds it over to Nemeth. Nemeth on the right wing going to slow things down a bit. Gets it over to Dennis. Dennis now looking for somebody down by the post. Finds Rabe wide open. Alex Rabe lays it right in. 32-29, the Raiders lead is now 3 points. Sean Turner with it, though. He's going to try to drive it once again. Takes a break, feeds it over to Baker. Baker for three. Can't get that one to fall. Booth there with the rebound and the putback. 34-29, 5-point lead for the Red Raiders. Zach Dennis back to Chaka, and Chaka to start things off here for the Jefferson Falcons. Feeds it over to Nemeth on the left wing. Going to try to get it over to Dennis in the post. Gets it kicked back out to Chaka. Chaka can't get the jumper to fall. Turner comes up with the rebound. Turner now in transition for the Raiders. And it's going to be Falcon ball.
I think Turner turned the hand over too much on that dribbling there.
And that's another thing they're starting to call.
You don't see that call very often,
No,
especially in high school.
Chaka now with it for the Falcons. Mark Baker will be taking a break for them as Sean Leary hops back into the game. Zach Dennis now with it, gets over to Nemeth. Nemeth trying to drive past the defense and hits the arm around Booth and lays it in, 34-31. The Falcons cut into the Raiders' lead. Sean Turner now with it for three and gets it to fall, just like he did in the Riverside game, right at the top of the key. 37-31, the lead is now at 6 points for the Red Raiders. Nemeth now with it over to Zach Dennis. Dennis looking to get his guys set up here, trying to break into the zone defense of the Red Raiders. Chaka now with it, feeds it over to Danny Nemeth. Nemeth over to Rabe. And I believe Nemeth may get a trip to the line here.
Well, Danny Nemeth is the first Jefferson player in double digits, and Nemeth, much like the Red Raiders, had a very strong second half of the season. In a span of 3 games before they played the Raiders for the second time, he had scored 30-some points, 32 points. And in one game alone, he had 24. So second half of the season, very good for Danny Nemeth, and still going strong here.
Puts up his first, and he's going to get that one to fall.
Oh, that was a 1-and-1 because the Raiders
were ready to take that rebound as it rattled around the rim. Lead now 5 for the Harvey Red Raiders. 2:04 to go here in this first half. And Nemeth will convert that second free throw as well. Turner now has it and races down the court for the Raiders, trying to drive that lane once again. He will take it himself off the glass and gets the 2 points. 39-33, the Red Raiders have a 6-point lead. Nemeth now to slow things down. Gets it over to Leary. Leary for three. He gets that one to fall, and he's got 2 in a row. Turner tries to feed it over to McLean. And now they're saying Turner stepped over the line before he threw it, and it's going to be Falcons ball.
The refs are really starting to pick out the small things that go on in the game. That's another thing you don't see often is a guy stepping over the line, and whether it just doesn't happen or they don't call it, but there they did.
Well, they certainly like to nitpick as we see it.
Certainly.
Chaka now has it for the Falcons, looking for somebody on the inbounds. He's going to feed it to Rabe down in the post. Rabe can't get it to fall. Turner gets it out of his way, and Baker comes up with it. Baker feeds up on Booth's mishap, and Sean Turner now has it. Turner now feeds it over to Parker, all open in 3-land. Can't get it to fall, though. And it looks like Turner will get the foul called on him, as he got awfully physical down there in the post. And it's Mike Baker, not Sean Turner. And it looks as if Zach Brubeck will be taking his first trip into the ballgame here.
Zach Brubeck, the new student to Harvey this year, transferring from Cleveland, and has actually gotten some good playing time and shown that he has a nice shot on him. So he's got another year to play for the Raiders.
Mike Baker will be taking a break here. And Sean Leary will take his opportunity at the charity stripe for a 1-and-1. Larry puts up his first and easily sinks that, 39-37. The Falcons now cutting to the lead, and it's only 2 for the Red Raiders.
You saw Leary earlier in the game shooting a lot of threes, not making a lot of them, and then just in the past couple of minutes, he's made 2 in a row. So he's clearly a threat from the outside.
Well, he seems to be a hot, cold shooter, and right now he's hot. Sean Turner now has it on the right wing for the Red Raiders. Looking for somebody down in the post, over to McLean. McLean puts it up over 2 guys, won't get it to fall. Booth right there with the putback. 2 points, 41-38, and this is certainly a higher scoring game. Less than a minute to go here. The Falcons desperately needing some points, racing down the court and showing that they need them. Zach Dennis with the move, doesn't get the ball. Turner with the rebound over to McLean. McLean lays it in and extends the lead to 5 points for the Harvey Red Raiders. Leary directing his guys, and he's going to get it over to Danny Nemeth. 40 seconds now left on the clock here. It's getting quite physical down there. Danny Nemeth got bowled over.
You see Nemeth there talking to the ref, trying to get a call going.
And Zach Dennis for the Falcons limps off the court. Looks like he did something to his knee. Number 20 comes into the game for the Falcons. That will be Andrew Graham.
The Falcons clearly came into this game thinking they had something to prove after beating the Raiders in overtime and then losing to them later on. A lot of people were saying it was the Raiders' early season problems, and I think they feel they need to prove that they are good enough to compete with the Raiders on this court.
Graham now has it for the Falcons, looking to get past the defense. Chaka now has it on the left wing. It's going to be a jump ball, and it'll be in the Raiders' favor. Turner in there on the defense and gets the call for the Raiders.
And you can see the Raiders are playing smothering defense. Every time a guy gets the ball, they are all over him, trying to get the steal, and a lot of times it is converting for the Raiders. As you saw there, the jump ball giving the Raiders possession.
Turner now has it with a 5-point lead. They can take some time off the clock, but they have to remember the Falcons do have quite an offensive threat after taking an 8-point lead early in the first quarter. Sean Turner now toying with the Falcons. He's going to try to drive it past Leary here. Gets it over to Booth down in the post, and I believe that's going to be a foul on the Jefferson Falcons. Booth will be taking a trip to the line here.
That's a good job there by Sean Turner, slowing it down, letting the clock run out, and then driving it inside. The Jefferson Falcons were looking for the outside shot by going inside. He's got a man open, and he drew the foul, so he's going to the line.
Foul was on Alex Rabe. Number 44 comes into the game for the Jefferson Falcons. Bob Reinhard with Kyle McGurr. Booth puts up the first, won't get it to fall. McGurr comes up with it. Leary now with it. Less than a second to go, puts up the shot. Doesn't get it to fall, and that's going to be the end of the first half. Your final score here, excuse me, not the final score, but the first half final score, is the Red Raiders 43, the Jefferson Falcons 38.
And we have Aaron Anderson standing with Coach Starkey. Aaron.
Coach Starkey, it was a competitive first half. What is your analysis how your team played?
Okay offensively, terrible defense. We're just giving up too much penetration. We don't have the intensity we need to have. We got to pick it up second half.
What is it going to take to win this game?
It's going to take, like I just said, intensity on defense. We got to make up our minds that we're going to win, put this game away, and yeah, like I said, just pick up the intensity, play harder.
Thank you so much. I'm Erin Anderson with WHHS Sports. Now back to Mike and Ken.
Well, thanks, Aaron. Well, the Raiders sure did have some trouble offensively to start off this game, didn't they?
They certainly did, but they came through as the game progressed and actually have 2 men already over 10 points, and that's Sean Turner with 16 and Ray McLean with 14.
And those are the 2 guys they always seem to count on. Well, 5-point lead for the Raiders. And let's see if they can extend it even further. I don't know if they can. The Falcons certainly do have a point to prove here. Any comments on this first half, Ken?
Just the Raiders need to keep up the intensity, play a little bit better defense, as Coach Starkey said, and the second half should be as successful as the first.
Well, that's going to be it for the first half. I'm Mike Williams.
And I'm Ken Stray.
We'll be back with second half action right after this. Raiders and the Jefferson Falcons here on WHHS Channel 30. Well, so far we've played 18 seconds into the second half. Your score is still 43-38.
And Mike, the Harvey Red Raiders ended the half playing very aggressively, scoring a lot of points. They struggled in the first quarter, as we saw, but hopefully in the second half they'll maintain the momentum they had built in the second quarter.
Well, hopefully they won't have any struggles in the third quarter here. Ivan Pinkett's going to get called for the travel there, and I don't want to see anything happen in a landslide.
We've definitely seen that before.
The Harvey Red Raiders, to me, are more of a first-half team, so as long as they can keep it together here and at least pace with the Falcons, they should be all right. Zach Dennis now has it for the Jefferson Falcons on the right wing, looking to get past the defense. He's going to find Alex Rabe at the top of the key. Rabe's going to feed it to Nemeth in the inside, and Nemeth tries to drive it, and I believe it's going to be a foul on Brian Phillips.
That's a foul before the shot there. I don't think he's going to the line.
And they won't. Sean Leary now to inbounds it for the Jefferson Falcons. So the scoring leaders so far tonight for the Red Raiders, we got Ray McClain at 16 and same with Sean Turner. Zach Dennis is going to lay that in for 2 points for the Falcons, and the lead is now only 3 for the Red Raiders, 43-40. Ivan Pickett now has it in three land, feeds it back to Odell Parker. Parker down to McClain, down in the post, turnaround jumper, won't get it to fall. Mike Baker and Phillips are fighting for the rebound, or excuse me, Mark Baker. Baker comes up with it. Zach Dennis is trying to get past Ray McClain. They're going to get the ball and the foul. Three-point play opportunity here for the Jefferson Falcons.
Mike,
and that'll be the quick way to tie up the game.
I got to tell you, the whistles seem to be coming late this evening. It seems like the refs are a little delayed in getting the whistle blown because the shot had clearly been put up. Ray McClain had gone up with number 2, Zach Dennis. The ball was already rolling around the rim, and then the ref blew the whistle. It seems like they're coming awfully late this game.
I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I think basketball should be more physical. Dennis can't convert on the three-point play. Brian Phillips there with a nice rebound. Sean Turner now has it and paces the Raiders down the court, drives the lane, feeds it over to McClain, and that should be a foul on Mark Baker, and it is called. Baker expecting McClain to take that quick shot once again, and instead McClain fooled him.
Well, you saw there, Sean Turner, he's so creative with his basketball playing. You will see some of the best passes thrown from Sean Turner over the head and behind the back. Right there you saw it, kind of a hook pass. Very nice.
Turner right there jumping up to get the ball. Won't get it to fall, though. Trying to tip it away. It doesn't happen. Nemeth now has it for the Falcons. Races down the court, feeds it over to Rabe. Rabe's going to get past Phillips and gets it to fall. 43-44. Jefferson now has a 1-point lead. And they have gone on a 6-point run. Harvey calls a timeout. And this is exactly what happened in the first quarter when Falcons just built an 8-point lead and the Raiders are just letting it slip away.
Indeed, Mike, it is almost a photographic, not photographic, it's almost an exact repeat of the first quarter.
Deja vu.
Yes, it certainly seems that way. The Raiders coming out a little sluggish at the half, and Jefferson coming out strong, but hopefully it'll turn out like the first half did.
Starkey seems to be pretty calm. I wouldn't be a calm guy in this situation.
Well, you don't see, he's a lot like the Ohio State Buckeyes coach Jim Tressel. He stays very cool and collected on the sidelines. He will stand up and he will yell, but he never lets his emotions get him carried away, and he stays very calm. And I think that's good for the Raiders because a lot of times their emotions can dictate how they play, and I think Starkey is a good contrast for that.
The Raiders now have the ball, and they're looking for their first points of the second half here. Ivan Pinkett now has it, feeds it over to McClain. McClain for three, won't get it to fall as it bounces off the iron. And the Falcons, I thought the Mark Baker lost it. Instead, it was tipped, and it'll be Falcon ball.
The referee was kind of out of place there on the other side, and so all he saw was Odell Parker going after the ball. So,
going back to what you said about Sean Turner and his beautiful passes, sometimes it's like they're playing on the playground.
Oh, and Sean Turner upset there.
He's going to get called for the foul there.
It's another one of those nice steals he gets that he does all the time. The steal, he gets the ball, and it's a quick layup or dunk. And right there was no different.
Nitpicking. That's what the refs are doing. They're nitpicking.
And you see this a lot in Harvey basketball because Harvey, more than any other team, plays very physically.
Rabe now down in the post trying to get some points on the board for the Falcons. They're all traveling on Alex Rabe.
That's once again good defense by the Raiders. Brian Phillips is firmly planted with his hands up. There's nowhere for him to put the ball, and he just traveled.
Two-stepping a little too much down there by the post. Ivan Pinkett now has it on the left wing, is looking to set up a play. Raiders still looking for points. 2 minutes have passed, and not 1 point on the board has gone the Raiders' way. Parker at the top of the key for the three and gets it to fall. Odell Parker with a wonderful shot. 46-44. The Raiders now lead it by 2 and reclaim their lead once again. Sean Leary now has it for the Jefferson Falcons, looking for somebody as they apply the press. Finally finds Zach Dennis open. Dennis is going to race down the court. He loses the ball. Turner's trying to come up with it, fights with Alex Rabe, and it's going to be Falcon ball.
Well, with the defense like Harvey's, they can go with the press where the Raiders can have 3 men down the court guarding the Falcons, and the defense is good enough that they can have 2 guys down court covering the hoop.
Nemeth now has it for the Falcons, looking for somebody. Almost reaches the 5 seconds point. It's going to be tipped the Raiders' way. McLean has it, feeds it over to Parker. Parker can't get the ball to fall in. Cleans up, though, gets his rebound, and the putback. 48-44, the Raiders now lead it by 4 points.
Odell Parker, who had no points in the first half, now has 5 quickly with 2 shots in a row made by him.
Rabe down in the post, and Brian Phillips says, get that out of here. Falcons still fighting for some points here, and Baker's going to airball it, feeds it over to Turner, but Zach Dennis is right there for the steal for the Falcons. Another opportunity for the Falcons. And Nemeth there with a Turner-like pass, feeds it over to Baker. Baker can't get it to fall, and Odell Parker comes up with it. Parker now has the ball. Looks like he was going to take a break. Now in the 3-lane all by himself. Almost gets that one to fall. Zach Dennis comes down with the rebound for the Jefferson Falcons.
In that last series of plays there, you saw a lot of sloppy playing by both sides. Jefferson had 4 times to convert the shot and did not on any of those 4. And Harvey, of course, with that nice rebound, but then throwing the ball away.
Nemeth sliced through the Raiders' defense. Got 2 more points on the board for Jefferson. 48-46. The ball is now in the Raiders now have the ball, and the score is now in the Raiders' favor. Odell Parker to inbounds it. Looking for somebody who's going to find Sean Turner. Turner taking the deep 3 and gets it to fall. Unbelievable, and he just walks away like he knew it was going to fall in.
And that was especially incredible because he shot it over the man playing defense on him. He got up and over and still made the shot.
Ray McLean throwing his hips at Sean Leary, and he's going to get the foul called against him. That's his 3rd on the night. Brian Phillips also has 3, and the Raiders are known for getting into foul trouble.
Ray McLean there, you saw him talking to the ref. I think what he's telling the ref is, let us play, ref. You can't nitpick like you are, because if you do, you're going to be calling fouls every second. And Ray McLean, he's more of a physical player, and he needs the refs to be a little more lax on the foul calls if he's going to stay in this game for a long time.
Parker vying for that steal, and everybody's diving on the floor. Parker trips it away. Ivan Pinkett now has it. Pinkett now races down the court, feeds it over to Mike Baker. Baker gets the shot and the foul after getting knocked over. Nice play by Mike Baker.
Good defense, good passing, good offense, good drawing the foul there by Mike Baker. Good all-around play there by the Raiders.
And the Falcons now are going to call a timeout. The Raiders have extended their lead to 7 points. That's the most this evening. And unfortunately, we're used to seeing huge leads, and you just can't get used to that in basketball.
I'll tell you, the quarter started off, the Raiders were struggling. Then they came back, took the lead. Then Jefferson had a little resurgence, but you see the Raiders have come out on top.
Now that we have a break in the action here, let's take a look at our sponsors this evening. They'll be WMG Wooden-Moore,
One cut above, Bob the Barber.
Joe Hada, City of Painesville Councilman at Large, class of 1968.
Palutro Insurance.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron.
And Silvestro's. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe. And we're back to the game here as both teams come onto the court.
And it's just been a good back and forth game. Mike Baker will try to convert the 3-point play here and extend the lead to 8 points for the Red Raiders. Baker puts it up and gets that one to fall, 54-46. And now it's going to be Harvey ball as I believe Alex McGurr stepped over the line as he threw it back in bounds.
This could be a mistake for the Falcons, giving the Raiders a chance to pull their lead up even farther.
Into the double digits. Booth now has it, feeds it over to Ivan Pinkett. Ivan Pinkett over to Sean Turner. Turner now with it on the right wing, trying to look for opening as the Jefferson now goes to his own defense. Baker alone in the opening, gets it to fall. Nice lay-in. 56-46. 10-point lead for the Red Raiders. Quick passes by Jefferson. Nemeth comes up with it, trying to feed it to somebody. You can tell the Harvey fans did not like that call at all.
Well, that's one of those questionable calls. It seems like Nemeth more ran into Baker than Baker fouled him, but he did draw the foul.
Well, if your feet aren't planted, they're not going to give you the charge. Nemeth is leading the way for the Jefferson Falcons this evening. He has 16 points on the night. Nemeth putting up his first. That one rattles around and finally falls in. 56-47. Falcons have the Raiders have a 9-point lead. Nemeth now to put up his second, trying to cut into the Raiders' lead. And gets that one to fall as well. 56-48. The score is in the Raiders' favor. Pinkett now has it. It's going to race past the defense. Pinkett trying to put up his own shot there. Still driving around the defense. It's going to be blocked there. Baker comes up with it to Turner. Turner on the three-land. Gets it to fall. Three-pointer by Sean Turner. 59-48. The lead is now 11 for the Red Raiders. Nemeth now has it racing down the court. Feeds it over to Alex Rabe. Rabe is rejected by Sean Turner. And Turner is just everywhere.
See Sean Turner, defense, offense, passing, blocking, whatever he's needed to do, he will do. He steps it up when the team needs it. And right there you saw the big three, and you saw the block, and he gets the crowd into it, he gets the team into it, and he gets himself into it.
Mike Baker almost comes up with the steal there. Nate Franley is still inbouncing it for the Falcons. Nemeth puts up a sloppy shot, but he'll get a trip to the foul line.
And once again, the refs are being really, really, really strict with the fouls here. I mean, that right there looked like a clean block to me. The refs saw it differently, and it seems like any time a guy's putting up a shot and he makes contact in any way with the other player, they're just calling the foul.
Foul goes against Odell Parker. That'll be his first of the evening. Danny Nemeth now takes another trip here at the charity stripe and hoping to convert for the Falcons. Throws up his first, and that one's not going to fall. So it looks as if after the Raiders came out of their timeout, something snapped, and they now have an 11-point lead, cut to 10 by that free throw. Mike Baker feeds it back to Turner, and Turner's going to start things off here for the Red Raiders once again. Turner at the top of the key, looking to drive the lane, takes his own three, not going to fall. Baker there for the rebound, though. Baker looking for somebody, finds Turner once again. Turner looking, he's going to slice right through, won't get it to fall. Turner trying to fight for it. He saves it, but Nemeth comes up with it for the Falcons. And oh no, Parker's right there for the steal, feeds it to Turner, and Turner's going to lay it in for 2 points. 61-49. The Raiders now lead it by 12.
Sean Turner with 24 points now on the evening. Looking for a big night here from him.
And we certainly have it. Odell Parker tips it. And talk about defense, you're going to talk about Odell Parker.
Odell Parker, he's a little guy, but he's got quick hands, quick feet, and he will steal it. He's one of the area leaders in steals. And also there, you saw him getting his hands on the ball twice in a row there.
Nemeth now has it for the Falcons as he tries to get past the press. He's going to find Bonavisuto. Bonavisuto feeds it over to Franley. Franley now with it on the right wing. Little sloppy on the ball handling. You can tell as Baker tries to stip it, Franley picks it back up, feeds it over to McGurr, and McGurr gets 2 points. 61-51. The lead is now 10 for the Red Raiders. Ivan Pinkett gets across the court here and is looking for somebody. He's going to find Andrew Booth. Booth tried to feed it to somebody, but Kyle McGurr comes up with the steal, feeds it over to Alex Rabe. Rabe's going to slow it down here a bit, gets it over to McGurr. McGurr with the deep jumper, and that one's going to rattle around and fall in. 61-53, the Raiders' lead is now down to 8.
Sean Turner in transition, and he's going to take his time here. 1:40 to go in this third quarter. Turner's going to try to slice through the defense. And they're going to call that against the Falcons and on Alex Rabe. And Rabe's just getting the special treatment that the Raiders have received all evening.
You can see Rabe and the Jefferson fans upset with that. I would be more upset that Sean Turner's the one going to the line because we know how he is at the foul line.
Well, if I was Jefferson's coach, Steve Losey, I'd be upset that Turner can slice through your defense every time. Turner puts it up and gets that one to swish right through. As we all know, that's his famed nickname. And the score is now 62-53. 9-point lead for the Red Raiders.
In that last play, Sean Turner brought the ball up slowly as if he was going to slow down the tempo. And then just as quickly, he turned it back up and got inside there to draw the foul.
Turner with his own words of wisdom, and that one's not going to fall. I believe that's the first one he missed. Mike Baker, though, with the cleanup and gets it, the putback. 64-53, 11-point lead for the Red Raiders. Nemeth now has it for the Falcons. I believe Nemeth's been in pretty much the whole game. Nemeth trying to drive like Turner won't happen. Parker comes up with the steal, feeds over McLean. McLean with the one-handed jam!
He got some air there, Mike. I mean, that was almost a Jordan foul line dunk there.
Nemeth now trying to get through the Raiders defense, feeds it over to Rabe, and Rabe can't get it to go in. Bonavisuto is fighting for the rebound with Baker. And I believe that's going to be called on Bonavisuto.
I'll tell you what, Mike, that dunk got the Raider fans back into the game. And Mike Baker actually is having a great game on the boards. He has been pulling down rebounds left and right, and a lot of times grabbing the rebound and putting it back in for two, which amounts to his 11 points on the evening. A good evening for Mike Baker, rebounding and scoring.
That's one way you're going to win with second chance points, and Mike Baker is giving that to the Red Raiders. Ray McLean on the left wing is going to slow things down a bit. Now feeds it over to Turner. Less than a minute to go here in the third quarter, and Turner's going to take a break here. Turner now challenging Kyle McGurr, is going to feed it over to Parker. Parker for three. Not going to happen. Rattles off the rim. And the Raiders are right there with the defense, but the Falcons finally get through it. The Met now has it, trying to slice through, having a little trouble handling the ball, and gets back behind the arc. Franley now has it for the Falcons. Jukes out Turner, but Turner's right there to block it. Baker now has it, gets past Nemeth and gives it the fall. Nice move by Mike Baker. Greg Bonavisuto now has it for the Jefferson Falcons. Feeds it over to Danny Nemeth. Nemeth's looking for somebody, but he's going to take his own break. 15 to go here in the third quarter. Feeds it to Franley on the inside. Franley jukes out Parker. Phillips comes up the rebound, though. And now they're getting physical down there. Parker shoving Alex Rabe. And I told you it'd be a physical game. Both of these teams don't like each other at all. Both NEC rivals. And you can see it this evening.
Boy, I hope at the quarter we can get a break in the action to see that Ray McLean dunk that he had there. He really got some air there.
And as Graham tried to inbound it, let's see what happened there. And it looks as if Jefferson will get a chance to inbound it once again. And now Greg Bonavisuto is going to get his first trip to the line for the Jefferson Falcons this evening. Bonavisuto puts up the first of the 1-and-1 and converts it. Ray McLean coming back into the game. He'll give Andrew Booth a breather.
Andrew Booth coming out now. He also has a good game going. He's got 4 points there, and you don't usually see Andrew Booth on the floor, only a sophomore. Plays a lot of JV, but also getting some varsity time and showing that he's quite a player.
Turner comes down with the rebound and is being chased from behind by Kyle McGurr. Turner's going to take it to the house and gets it to fall in. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. Your score here in Madison's Gymnasium is the Harvey Red Raiders 70, the Jefferson Falcons 54.
Boy, the Raiders have really turned it up in the second half, taking a 16-point lead now. And now, Mike, I'd like to turn your attention back to that Ray McClain dunk because he really got up there.
That was a monster one-handed jam. There it is. Parker feeding to McClain all alone, and whoa! That's just crazy.
And right there you see the Red Raiders pulling down the rebound, and it's almost as if the other players know that it's going to be a fast break because they're looking for McClain or Turner or even Mike Baker, I know, can dunk. They're looking for him down court to get that easy two, layup or dunk.
Well, you can also tell when nobody's on the other side of the court, it's all over.
And I'd like to point out Sean Turner, 27 points in 3 quarters of work. We're looking at a big game for Sean Turner.
Turner may get a career high this evening. I'd love to see that.
You may very well see that. And now that we have a break, let's turn to our sponsors once again. WMG Wood & More.
One cut above, Bob the Barber.
Joe Hada, Councilman at Large, class of 1968.
Belutro Insurance.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron.
And Silvestro's for great food. Make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe. Well, as we get to the final quarter of action here, the Raiders once had a lead of 5 to start off the half, and now have extended it to 16 points. Ivan Pinkett's going to start it off, tries to feed it to Phillips, but Mark Baker's right there with the steal. Nemeth now has it for the Jefferson Falcons. Is looking for somebody. He's going to find Alex Chaka. Chaka on the right wing trying to race past Turner, and Chaka's going to lose it out of bounds. Raider ball.
And right there, once again, good defense by the Raiders. A nice steal and another chance to put more points onto that lead.
Ivan Pinkett now has it for the Red Raiders on the right wing, trying to race past Chaka. He's going to find Brian Phillips. Phillips back to Pinkett. Over to Odell Parker, who was wide open, but the defense closed quickly. Parker with a nice move basket and the foul. Nice floater. Unbelievable. Get 2 points on the board for the Raiders, and your score is now 72-54. They've extended the lead to 18 points.
And what began as a very back and forth good game between these two teams has turned into a Harvey rout now.
Parker can't convert. Turner tries to get the rebound and won't happen. Alex Rabe now has it being pressured by McClain and Turner. Zach Dennis comes up with it, feeds it over to Chaka. Chaka over to Nemeth. Nemeth for 3. Off the back iron, and everyone's fighting. Rabe comes up with the rebound for the Falcons and lays it back in. 72-56. The Raiders lead it by 16. Ivan Pinkett once again to start things up for the Harvey Red Raiders. Pinkett's going to take his time here, and they definitely can take their time with a 16-point lead. Pinkett racing around everybody, feeds it over to Phillips. Phillips trying to get around everybody, puts up the shot, doesn't get it to fall. Ray McClain almost comes up with the rebound.
I got to tell you, I'm surprised there was no foul called there because there's a lot of aggressive play going on there, and I was just surprised to not see that foul.
Well, it's the final quarter, and maybe they're finally just going to let him play. Danny Nemeth runs through the Raiders' defense and gets 2 points on the board for the Falcons. Turner for 3, rattles out of the rim. Nemeth's there for the rebound. Nemeth seems to be doing everything for the Falcons, trying to carry the whole team on his shoulders. Chaka now has it for 3 and is rejected by Sean Turner.
And right there you see the disadvantage of the height of Chaka. He's not the tallest guy, and so the ball doesn't get as high as quick, and Turner just had the chance to get ahead there.
As we look at Alex Chaka's height, it's only 5'7".
And I think that might be being nice.
Maybe he was wearing platform shoes that day. I'm not positive.
Could be. He's a very small guy, but still a great player.
Nemeth feeds it over, or actually Nemeth has the ball now on the left wing, trying to get past everybody, and it's going to bounce off Phillips and out of bounds.
To go back to what you said earlier, Mike, about Nemeth carrying the team on the shoulders, you're exactly right. Nemeth he's got 20 points on the evening. He's playing great, but against a team like Harvey, who is so well-rounded, you can't have one guy carrying the whole team.
Well, Rabe right there got the easy 2 as nobody did anything. Rabe's the next leading scorer for the Falcons on the evening with 12 points. Sean Turner now has it once again, trying to slice through the defense, finds Parker on the left wing. Parker puts it up and gets it to fall. 3 points for Odell Parker, 75-60, 15-point lead for the Harvey Red Raiders. Danny Nemeth now has it for the Falcons once again on the right wing, trying to race past Odell Parker. Parker can't get the charge called. Mark Baker feeds it to Rabe on the inside. Brian Phillips trying to guard him, but just can't happen. 75-62, 13-point lead for the Harvey Red Raiders. And now a timeout is called
what you saw right there is Brian Phillips, he realizes he's in foul trouble with 3. He's got to be careful to make sure that he stays in the game for the whole game and doesn't foul out. So right there, you're just seeing him playing cautious and actually very heads up of him to know that he's in foul trouble and needs to be careful.
So I wonder what Coach Starkey is telling his guys in the huddle there.
At this point in the game, they've got a 13-point lead. I think he's just got to tell them to keep doing what they're doing. They're playing aggressively. They're playing smart. They're getting the offense. They're getting the defense. You're seeing a lot of good play by a lot of players.
And Sean Turner has definitely carried his weight around tonight, 27 points. Ray McLean right behind with 18. And Mike Baker having a great evening with 13 points.
And Mike, we're going to turn back to that Ray McLean dunk in a moment because we want to show you Ray McLean. He's a high jumper for the track team. He's a long jumper, and he's got a lot of good jumping capabilities, and we just like to see that again.
The Red Raiders will start off with the ball here, and here's that instant replay as we see.
And it is slow motion. You can see McLean, very natural, catches the ball, knows exactly where he's going on the court, and he's just right there, not even halfway in the paint.
Wow.
And a nice dunk there.
Well, as we get back to action in the game, Sean Turner tried to put up the layup and got hacked on his way. And he's going to get a trip at the free throw line.
Kudos there to the WHHS Channel 30 Sports team of technicians we got going down there. Nice job with that slow motion there.
It was a good job. Turner now going to get his second free throw in here. 14-point lead now for the Red Raiders. He's going to sink that. 77-62. Raiders up by 15. Baker feeds it over to Nemeth. 5:40 to go here in the fourth quarter. And time is just running out for the Falcons. McLean now to get called for a foul, and that'll be his 4th on the evening. He can only give up 1 more.
And McLean, he does have a tendency to get into foul trouble. He has fouled out in a few games, and he's just playing his aggressive way, but the refs are calling him on it.
Baker comes back into the game for the Harvey Red Raiders, giving McLean a break. Well, it certainly has been a good game. It was back and forth early. And a 5-point lead didn't seem to be a whole bunch for the Raiders, but now they've extended it to 14 points.
And at this point, it's just a good game for the Raiders.
I don't think many people expected a blowout like this game has become.
Especially not after the way the Raiders and the Jefferson Falcons split their season series 1-1 with Jefferson winning a nice overtime game there.
And then especially the way the Falcons just came out of that first quarter. Unbelievable. Odell Parker now has it for the Raiders, racing down the court, tries to find somebody, and Baker's right there for the steal. Nemeth now has it once again for the Falcons, gets past everybody, can't get it to fall though, and Phillips right there with a nice rebound. Phillips looking and finds Ivan Pinkett. Pinkett racing down the court for the Raiders on the left wing. Pinkett's now going to take a break here, feeds it over to Sean Turner. Turner now with it, trying to find somebody, finds Phillips there. Phillips gets the ball and the foul and the basket. Phillips only 4 points on the evening, but he certainly plays a crucial part on this team.
Well, with the rebounding that he does and just the all-around physical play, he's a key member of this Red Raider team. And whether they play Perry or Cortland Lakeview in the next round, if they win, which is looking good now, they're going to need a big rebounding, aggressive player like Brian Phillips to pull through one of those games.
They certainly are. They're going to need everything in a district semifinal game. Phillips shot off the back iron and rolls into the hoop. 80-64. Nemeth now has it's going to find McGurr, but McGurr can't hold on to it. Dennis with his save, and McGurr gets the 2 points for the Jefferson Falcons. 80-66. It's a 14-point lead for the Raiders, and the Raiders pretty much can play the rest of this game comfortably. Sean Turner over to Brian Phillips. Phillips over to Parker. Parker in the post, can't get it to happen. And Alex McGurr comes down with the rebound. Danny Nemeth now has it for the Jefferson Falcons. Nemeth trying to weave past everybody. Won't get the ball to fall, but he'll get a trip to the free throw line.
And now Brian Phillips in foul trouble because that's his fourth.
And it's interesting to see Zach Dennis out there. I noticed earlier in the game he limped off the court, but it's good to see him playing once again. Turner now has 29 points. Unbelievable.
He's looking, well, he's probably going to get 30. That's almost a given. But 40, 50, I mean, the sky's the limit because Sean Turner is just, he's a great player, very charismatic on the floor.
Nemeth out to put up another free throw and gets that one to fall. 80-68. The lead is now 12 points for the Harvey Red Raiders. Everything's getting set up here, and Sean Turner now as it bounces it off. Franley's back, and he's going to race up the court. Looking for that jumper, not going to take it. Phillips going to get called for the travel there. That back foot just moved just a little bit.
Gotta tell you, Mike, I thought that Sean Turner didn't have a man open, but had the Jefferson man's back to him, so bounces it off his back and takes the ball himself. Good heads-up play there.
Actually, in the first game, as Harvey played Perry, I remember Odell Parker did that same exact thing. And it'll be really interesting if Harvey does end up playing Perry. Unfortunately, the Perry and Cortland Lakeview game is later this evening. Zach Dennis now takes the shot for the Falcons, but that's not going to fall. Parker finally comes up with it, takes it away from Leary. No look to Phillips, but Nemeth's right there. Nemeth's everywhere for the Falcons. He's going to race past everybody. Can't lay it in, too much pressure on there. Alex Rabe is going to throw it up. 80-70, and now the lead is only 10 for the Raiders with 4:03 to go. Well, the Falcons are definitely in it. We surely can't just lay down and die.
And now we're going to take a look at our sponsors, WMG Wood and More.
One cut above, Bob the Barber.
Joe Hada, class of 1968.
Pelutro Insurance.
Scores, Fun Center, and Lasertron.
Silvestro's. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe. And I'd like to take a second here just to thank our sponsors. Without them, we may not be here this evening.
And as always, we have a lot of sponsors, and they're always willing to give us the money to keep this good program going.
Well, as we have a moment here, let's report on how the rest of the NEC is doing here in tournament play. And interesting, in the opening round of this D2 tournament here in Madison, Conneaut played Edgewood, and Conneaut was the victor, 57-50.
And then Lakeside, very strong in the NEC, actually lost to Menor 100-80, a high-scoring game there, Mike.
And a lot of D1 teams are harder for NEC teams to play. Well, in tonight's game, we have this game, of course, between the Harvey Red Raiders and the Jefferson Falcons. And the Geneva Eagles will take on the 18-2 Shaw Red Ball Express.
So the NEC has some guys going on, have some guys coming out, and here we're going to see an NEC team go on either way because Jefferson and Harvey both NEC teams.
And in my opinion, I believe the winner of this game is going to be the only one that's left in district play. Geneva's 10-11, and they're going to play a tough Shaw team, and I don't think they'll come out the victor in that game. Raiders once again to start off with it. Turner with the football pass to Mike Baker, and he's going to travel.
Well, Mike, I thought I saw a little shove there from number 2, Zach Dennis, but
actually, I was just going to suggest the same thing. But unfortunately, it's not going to go the Raiders' way. None of the calls ever seem to go the Raiders' way. Nonetheless, the Raiders have a 10-point lead, and we shouldn't really fret about it either. Sean Leary now has it for the Jefferson Falcons. It gets it over to Danny Nemeth. Nemeth once again going to slow things up. Less than 4 to go here, down by 10. And I don't know why they would want to slow things down. Nemeth with some good skills there over to McGurr. McGurr now with it to Zach Dennis. Dennis trying to get back to the lane. Dennis feeds it over to Nemeth. Nemeth looking for somebody. Gets it over to Rabe, and Rabe is rejected by Sean Turner. Turner now with the ball for the Red Raiders. Turner on the left wing looking to take it through the defense. And I believe they're going to call that on Alex McGurr.
And Sean Turner's going to the line. Looks like he's going to do a 1-and-1. Sean Turner with a big block there, and the Red Raiders were able to get the ball. So another chance to increase the lead from 10 to 11 or 12. With Turner, you can never be sure. And here he's looking at his 30th point of the game.
going to put it up, and he's going to get that one to fall. 81-70. The lead is now 11 for the Red Raiders. And it looks as if the Raiders are definitely tuned up for the playoffs. They scored 91 against University on Wednesday night. Already 81 points with 3.5 to go. Turner puts up his second and gets that one to fall. 82-70, 12-point lead for the Red Raiders. Nemeth now has it for the Falcons and is looking to get things set up. Parker challenged him on defense, so Nemeth's going to take it, though. Throws it up to the lane, puts up a floater, and won't get it to fall. Andrew Booth there for the rebound. Ivan Pinkett gets it, though. Ivan Pinkett now racing down the court and in transition for the Raiders. Pinkett's going to feed it over to Turner. Turner, backdoor, got behind everybody, and it's going to be, I believe it's going to be Falcons ball.
Yes, I think that went off the hands of Andrew Booth there, trying to get the rebound and the putback.
Leary feeds it over to Nemeth. Nemeth trying to get past the little press that Harvey's applying. Not too much of a press. So Zach Dennis now has it feed it over to Rabe, and Rabe puts up the shot and the lay-in. 82-72. The lead is cut down to 10 once again. Less than 3 now to go in this fourth quarter. Sean Turner going to take a breather here. Turner looks like he's just toying with Alex McGurr. Now he races past everybody, finds Mike Baker. Baker trying to get around to move. Looks like it's blocked by Dennis, but Parker's right there with the steal and the jumper. 84-72. 12-point lead once again for the Harvey Red Raiders. Nemeth now has it. Parker tried to block the pass, couldn't get the rebound though. Nemeth's going to race down the court here, feeds it over to Rabe. Rabe trying to find somebody, gets it over to Dennis. Dennis can't get the 3 to fall. Baker's right there with the rebound. Sean Turner now has it right wing and says he's going to take it left wing for the Red Raiders here. Turner going to take it, kind of just bounced around his hands there. And Booth getting really physical down there with Leary. And the fans are loving it. I told you this would be physical.
I want you, just something I've noticed here. Danny Nemeth, the big scorer for the Falcons, is now being covered by Odell Parker, who is one of the better defenders on the Harvey team, and I think they're hoping to slow up his progress in this game by putting the good defense of Odell Parker on him.
And a nice air ball there by Sean Leary. Rabe has it, though, for the Falcons, trying to get past the defense. Nobody's really fouling anybody. A lot of people are in foul trouble, and now it looks as if Andrew Booth got poked in the eye by a Jefferson Falcon. Already happened with Ray McClain earlier, and I can understand why both teams want to get at each other's throats.
I gotta tell you, Sean Leary, he puts up a lot of threes, and he's not making as many as I think he's expecting to. And you saw there after that 3, he kind of rolled back. I think they're trying to draw the foul now, Jefferson is. They're putting up the shots, but after the shots, they're being a little melodramatic and trying to get the fouls called on the Raiders for more point-scoring opportunities.
And if you noticed, Harvey is playing it smart down in the post. All the defenders are just putting their hands up. They're not going to start hacking and swatting at everybody. They don't want to give Falcons any more opportunities than they already have had. Booth now to put up a free throw shot, and that one's not going to fall. 1 minute and 47 seconds. This has definitely been a good game, and the third quarter just took it away from the Falcons. Falcons have cut into the lead, but only by 4 points, and Booth can't get that to fall, and the lead is now 12, and it's still 12 for the Red Raiders. Sean Turner now with it, gets the rebounds, toying around with everybody, feeds it to Booth, nice feed, and lays it in. 86-72, 14-point lead for the Red Raiders. I was not expecting that. What a zip pass by Sean Turner. Dennis now has it, feeds it over to Leary. Leary back to Rabe. Rabe over to Dennis. Feeds it down low to Nemeth, and Turner is going to get called for the foul.
Turner, they're going for the big block again.
And Turner looks as if he can afford it, though. That'll be his third on the evening. Let Odell Parker foul anybody. He's got no fouls on the evening. Great defense and no fouls. I don't know how he got away with it.
Odell Parker is just that slick of a player. He's got the fast hands, and he's very clean with his fouling.
Nemeth now is going to put the first up for the Falcons, 86-73. And with a minute 19 to go, you can pretty much assume this game's over. You have to give the Falcons credit, though. They played an incredibly tough game this evening.
It's a very high-scoring game. 74 points. is not a bad amount of scoring for a team to have in a high school basketball game.
Well, the Raiders are even better with 86. Mark Baker comes into the game for the Jefferson Falcons. Now Ivan Pinkett has it, and they're just going to foul him right away. I don't understand what this is going to do for the Falcons. The Raiders can shoot free throws. I believe they're a 65 to 67% shooting team from the stripe.
They are indeed. They're very accurate, and especially Ivan Pinkett, who has that nice outside shot. Possibly a mistake here, but Jefferson's just going with the 1-and-1 and trying to have, not giving the Raiders a chance to score except for on these free throws. But as we said, with a guy like Pinkett
drills his first one in there. 87 to 74 is now the score, and this could be a long 1 minute and 17 seconds.
You might see a lot of fouling from Jefferson, and, well, Harvey's obviously not going to try to foul, keep the clock running.
Pinkett takes the second. 88 to 74 is now your score. 14-point lead for the Red Raiders. Nemeth now has it for the Falcons, feeding over to Leary, and Leary may be their only option. Leary getting down in the paint there, gets it over to McGurr. McGurr can't get it to fall. Rattles around. Nemeth comes up with it, though, and with the quick putback. And Jefferson's going to take a timeout here. 88 to 76 is your score. 12 ticks left on the clock. Well, while we have some time here, I would like to take a look at the tournament bracket we have here.
And it's coming up here.
And as we see here, Harvey, of course, playing Jefferson tonight. And it looks like they'll win and advance in this game. And up ahead will be either Cortland Lakeview or the Perry Pirates.
And, Mike, I think that's going to be a very good game. I'm looking forward to that because the only Cortland Lakeview loss came to Madison, and Perry is a very strong team. So that could be a good game there.
Both teams played well. Perry lost to Harvey in the opener, actually. And it'll be interesting. A lot of people, though, around this area are saying that Cortland Lakeview shouldn't be the #1 seed. Since they don't come up here that often, it'll be interesting to finally get a look at Cortland Lakeview.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to see them play, but I do know they're a very strong team.
Well, 19-1 and winning your first 18, you definitely have to be a strong team. Raiders now have the ball once again and gets it over to Baker, and he's going to be fouled. Well, a minute on the clock. Time to bring out your pillow and your blanket because this will be a long minute.
Indeed it will, and it seems like basketball is the one sport that can make a minute last an eternity.
Well, it'd only be an eternity if the Raiders were down by 12 points. Luckily, it was in their favor, though. Baker to put up his first, and he's going to get that one to sink in. 89 to 76, and they're inching even closer to that 91-point mark. Alex McGurr now comes into the game for the Jefferson Falcons. And maybe it was a good choice for Coach Starkey to not to choose the bye that Jefferson took instead. I kind of wondered why he didn't. I'm glad he did now. They were very pumped for that University game, and it seems like a lot of that momentum is carried over.
University was more of a tune-up game for the Raiders. They knew that it wasn't going to be that difficult of a victory. University, a weak team. They played some difficult teams, but still a weaker team. And it was a good tune-up game for the Raiders. And actually, with the momentum from Riverside, you'd almost want them to play sooner to keep that momentum going, which they did, and they have into this game.
Well, that game surely was an embarrassment for University, but this game was a little bit tougher. And each round, as you move on to the playoffs, you know the games just get even harder. And both teams in the next game, Perry and Cortland Lakeview, both very formidable opponents. It'll be interesting to see who Harvey plays. And another factor plays into this, the next game. As we all know, Perry played Harvey earlier in the season, and Perry won by just 3 points. But 2 years ago, in the same tournament in the district final, Cortland Lakeview beat Harvey. And Harvey might have some revenge to say. And here we go once again. Ray McClain not going to put on the big jam like he did before, but he gets an easy 2 points for the Red Raiders. Leary now has it for the Falcons, feeds it over to Nemeth. Nemeth trying to slice through. Nobody's going to even try to block him, and Rabe comes up with the rebound and the putback. 91 to 80. The Raiders lead it. Turner trying to race past everybody and is going to get fouled very easily. That'll be Alex Rabe's fourth of the evening.
You saw Harvey there trying to get away from the foul with that nice looping pass to Ray McClain there. it gets rid of the foul, and they're still getting 2 points on the board. So maybe they should try to do that to keep the game moving.
Turner at the stripe, and he's going to get that first one to fall, 92-80. This definitely has been a high-scoring game. Bonavasciuto comes into the game for the Falcons, as well as Nate Franley. Turner with the second. He's going to get that one to fall as well. 93-80, 13-point lead for the Harvey Red Raiders. And Leary tries to feed a quick pass to Zach Dennis, and Dennis just can't handle it. Going to be a Red Raider ball. Parker inbounds it here for the Red Raiders and gets it over to Sean Turner. It looks as if the Falcons have got away from the fouling strategy. 30 seconds to go here in this game. Turner now trying to drive past everybody, feeds it to McLean. McLean's going to lay it right in. 95-80, 15-point lead for the Red Raiders. Sean Leary now has it, and he's going to get it over to Zach Dennis. Dennis for three, not going to fall. And I believe it's going to be a Red Raiders ball. 14.4 the clock reads here, and this game is almost over. And Harvey will win its first sectional title in 2 years since they went on that tournament run in 2001. Parker trying to alley-oop it to Sean Turner, and Turner's going to get fouled by Mark Baker.
You know, if I'm Mark Baker, I let Sean Turner make that alley-oop because that's just cool looking, and they're not going to win anyways.
Well, Ken, I like your philosophy there. I don't think Jefferson would appreciate that too much, though.
No, Jefferson clearly wanting to pull the game closer.
And number 14 coming into the game for the first time, that'll be Pete Hobe.
And he's a very strong JV player, and he's a junior this year, so he's looking to have a good year next year.
Well, Hope's going to gain 3.5 seconds of varsity experience, for that's all that's left on the clock here. Turner can't get his first one in this sink. Very rarely do you see that happen. Turner now with the second here. And he'll get that one to fall in, though. 96-80 now, 16-point lead, and Hope might get his own shot here. Hope for three, won't get it to sink, and that's the end of the game. Your score here is the Harvey Red Raiders 96, the Jefferson Falcons 80, and the Harvey Red Raiders have gained a sectional title.
You saw a lot of strong play from a lot of Raiders. Sean Turner, 34 points. Ray McLean, 22 points. Odell Parker, 12 points. And I'd like to point out that that was only in the second half. No points scored by Odell Parker in the first half. And Mike Baker with 14 points. So you had four guys in the double digits for scoring with the Raiders.
A lot of people put together a very good game for the Harvey Red Raiders, and at the opening, it didn't look good for the Raiders at all. They were down 9-1 really quickly, but I think they realized that it was just the beginning of the game. They ended up pulling a 5-point lead by halftime, 16-point lead at the third quarter, and they won by 16. Now standing by is Aaron Anderson, who is with Coach Starkey once again. Let's go over to Aaron.
It seems the team picks up intensity as the game goes on in the second half. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we had to tonight because Jefferson played a great game, and if we hadn't done that, we would have been in trouble. So, you know, yeah, our guys have done that a lot this year, and I guess it's a good thing to have.
How does it feel to get a championship sectionals for your first year?
Yeah, it feels real nice. You know, after coming in second in the league, we wanted to get a sectional championship. So, yeah, I'm very happy for the guys we were able to get it.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Aaron Anderson for WHHS Sports.
Well, thank you, Aaron, and we wish Coach Starkey and the rest of the Harvey Red Raiders the best of luck and congratulations on their sectional title.
Let's take a look at our sponsors one more time before we go. WMG Wood and More.
One cut above, Bob the Barber.
Joe Hada, class of 1968.
Palutro Insurance.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron.
And Silvestro's Depot Cafe.
So the Harvey Red Raiders on Tuesday night will play the winner of the Perry-Cortland Lakeview game. And we hope to see all of you out here cheering on the Harvey Red Raiders.
I believe that will be on Thursday, Ken, but
my apologies.
Well, that's it for the Red Raiders here tonight. Once again, 96-80, they win it here. I'm Mike Williams.
And I'm Ken Stray.
Everyone, have a great evening.